All I had to do was implement this one tool and I was able to get over that last hurdle. Hi guys, I'm Carly and today I'm going to share with you 6 tips on how to use intermittent fasting to get rid of those last stubborn 15 to 20 pounds. So first of all, intermittent fasting is just using a smaller time frame during the day to get in the bulk of your calories. So if you want to know the ins and outs of my strategy, you can watch this video. I will link here. But basically I tend to maintain an eating window from about 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. So that's about 6 hours that I get in the bulk of my calories. So the first tip I want to give is to basically eat 2 larger meals as opposed to 3 small meals in that small time frame. And you don't have to do 6 hours. You can do 8 hours, you can do 12 hours. It's just that the smaller you make that window of when you're going to be taking in your calories, the more time you're going to allow your body to utilize those fat stores. So in these 2 larger meals, you're gonna wanna focus the bulk of your calories around starches. So things like beans, wild rice, corn, buckwheat, wheat, squashes, potatoes, amaranth, teff, quinoa, sorghum. There's so many grains out there, but make sure you're focusing on whole grains. So these are gonna be your starches. Just keep in mind that these are higher in calorie density. So even though this should be the bulk of your calories, that doesn't mean it should be the bulk of your plate. So you still want to get plenty of fruits and vegetables, but it's necessary to keep the starch in each and every meal. So you don't feel like you're stuffing yourself with those 2 meals per day. It'll just feel like a natural progression of calorie intake. So the second tip is to make sure you allow yourself time to regain your hunger in between those 2 meals. So if you're only eating in a 6-hour time frame or an 8-hour time frame, you're gonna wanna cut back on your snacking in between those meals. So you can still have a little something if you're really hungry. I try not to get too rigid about this because food should be enjoyable. It shouldn't be this stringent, obsessive, uncomfortable routine that you do every day. It should feel natural. You want to make sure in between that first larger meal and the second larger meal that you're regaining that hunger drive. And this will come with time. The more you practice this, the more your body is going to get used to it and the more it's going to recognize, oh, okay, this is time for me to eat. This is time for me to burn calories. So it really doesn't take long to get to that point. If you found value in that tip, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. I have 4 more to go. So the third tip I have for you today is to push the majority of your calories to the earlier morning hours, because studies have shown that our bodies actually utilize calories more efficiently the earlier in the day that you consume them. So I'm not talking like before the sun comes up. I mean, naturally, following your natural circadian rhythms. When you wake up in the morning, you should probably think about starting a breakfast type meal. What's important is that you're not pushing your calories back to the later evening hours. So you want to be completely done eating by 7 p.m. I like to tell my clients 5 p.m. at the latest, but like I mentioned, for myself, I prefer 3 p.m. I just don't like to continue digesting well into the evening. Number 4 is to exercise in the morning right before you break your fast. Now, this is going to be the point in time where your glucose reserves are the most depleted. So it's a great opportunity to really bust through that barrier and start burning those fat stores. And over time, your body will actually become more efficient at burning these fat stores because of this regular exercise routine that you will hopefully be incorporating. The 5th tip is kind of a goofy one, but I wanted to mention it because it's such an important part of my ability to maintain this consistently for the past 3 years. So after I get done with my second meal and I know that I'm not going to be eating anymore throughout the day, I will brush my teeth and floss and make sure they're nice and clean, because it's actually been shown that this is a signal to your brain that you are finished eating for the day and you are much less likely to go back into the kitchen to find more calories if you do this automatically. I get really fatigued in the later evening hours and I'm so much more likely to grab and eat some junk if I do not practice this on a regular basis. And I mean, it's not like it's a bad practice. It's only gonna help you in the long run to take care of your teeth. A quick little ninja 5.5 tip I have for you guys is to sip carbonated water in the later evening hours. Now, you don't need to chug this before you're gonna go to bed because obviously you'll be running to the bathroom all night, but it really helps to have that effervescence and that feeling of fullness in your tummy without actually taking any calories. Just a little something that I use regularly. I sort of touched on the 6th tip earlier, but I just want to elaborate on the point that your body will perfectly adapt and find a natural baseline and equilibrium when you start practicing intermittent fasting regularly. So it really doesn't take much time, maybe 3-4 days, if not a week, to let your body adapt to the higher meal volume. Your stretch receptors in your stomach will naturally get used to that new level of fullness. Your body will also adapt to the duration in between meals, so you'll feel less and less and less hungry during that time frame where you're not going to be taking in any calories. So during those nighttime hours, you're going to feel no need, no desire to eat whatsoever. Unless you're in a weird social circumstance, like you're going out to dinner or something, then obviously those environmental cues will kind of trigger your hunger drive. But beyond that, I don't even think about food until the next day. It's not even in my repertoire. So I hope you found these tips helpful. If you are really struggling to lose these last 10 to 15 pounds, even after including intermittent fasting into your daily regimen, I highly recommend contacting me directly. My info is down below in the description box. I'll also link the other intermittent fasting videos I have already produced in the description box. And of course, let me know how it's going for you. Leave comments below and tell me what you're struggling with, what barriers that you're still trying to overcome. If you're still hungry, if you're constantly craving something and you can't stop getting your sweets at the end of the day or something, just leave me a comment. I have so much information and different strategies on how to overcome these barriers. I hope you found value in this, and I will catch up with you guys in the next video.